Hello Podtaku, I'm Colonel Schafer. I'm a recent subscriber of Gigix, and I just discovered Podtaku last night. Finished watching the second video today. It's great stuff. I love it. I just wanted to throw in my 2 cents about localization, fan subbing, pirating, that whole conversation, and elaborate a little on what I posted on the second video about Sword Art Online. For anyone who's curious, you guys or people in the crowd, if you will. So yeah, and localization. I really do think that what you guys say is true in terms of pirating decreasing from the amount of money that's going back to anime companies that choose to release their stuff overseas. And I do think that that discourages them from releasing their stuff overseas. But in my opinion, that is not a bad thing, because what one of you said about noticing anime studios putting out material that had a Western audience somewhat in mind, to me that sounds like a trap, because what makes anime great for me, is it is so Japanese, and it is built around Japanese tropes and the Japanese market. And if I wanted something that was targeted for Western audiences, I would go down into town to the movie theater, because I live in North America. And so I definitely see where it would be great for anime companies to get the extra revenue of a strong foreign market, but I think that if the foreign market becomes strong, it will detract from the things that make me love anime. But that's just my 2 cents. And one idea that you guys brought up that I think would be awesome is a kind of anime Steam. I would be all over that. If one of you guys wants to start up a Kickstarter, I will be the first guy to throw money at you. Take all my money. But yeah, that's if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And maybe I'll be proved wrong. Maybe an anime company will put out some really great stuff targeted towards a Western audience that I will love, and I will eat my words and sound like an idiot. But my initial reaction to the idea of a strong foreign market for anime and anime targeted towards Western audiences is meh. Moving on from that, Sword Art Online. I've read 6 of the books so far. There are 10. They're all very short, though, so maybe I think at this point I've read about the equivalent of 1 full novel. I think the anime, and especially hearing you guys talk about it, because no one I know who's watching the anime has not read the books, and I think that the anime was not as well executed as it could have been in terms of marketing it towards the audience of people who have not read the books or not even heard of it even. For me, having read the books and knowing where things are going, why things are where they are, I'm really enjoying it, and it's great. But for example, the early episodes that are all kind of disjointed, the reason for that is the first volume of the book actually takes place, spoilers, in the first couple weeks before they escape Sword Art Online. And the reason for that is the guy who wrote it at the time that he wrote the first volume, it was supposed to be a standalone book, and it wasn't even supposed to be published. He wrote it on his spare time for fun. He wasn't an author at that point. And then it got really famous online, and a publishing company decided to pick it up and publish it. From there, it took off, it got really popular, he made tons of money, and the publishing company was like, hey, we're going to turn this into a series. And he didn't know what he wanted to do after they escaped Sword Art Online. So he turned the clock back and wrote all these short stories that took place in the interim between the beginning of the game and the end when they escape. And that's basically what all these shorter, these non-arc episodes, these standalones, are coming from, because the anime is, I think, trying to give us the first 2 volumes arranged in chronological order. Which, for someone who doesn't know that's coming, might be a turnoff, because they watch these first 6, 7 episodes and they go, there's no overarching plot. Nothing's really developing. But I promise, for anyone who's worrying about that, it does turn into a real plot by the end. One of the other things you brought up that I really wanted to talk about was, where's all the poop going? That's kind of hand-waved in the books. They're basically just in hospitals being tended to. But what I really found interesting was your guys' theory that Sword Art Online works like Excel World, which would be so cool. And it really couldn't have worked out that way, because when he was writing that book, Excel World hadn't been written yet, and he couldn't have made that connection. But the fact is, Excel World is actually a sequel to Sword Art Online, and if there had been that connection, it would have been a really interesting way to build continuity between the two series, because there really isn't any continuity between the two series other than like a few name drops and the guy who wrote them saying they happen in the same universe. And yeah, that's kind of disappointing for me, because I really want to see these two series come together, and that would have been a really interesting way for it to happen. Oh, the last thing I want to talk about. You guys mentioned that you don't want Asuna to turn into a Sundre. Apologies for any pronunciation. I have no excuses. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. She sort of goes through that phase for a little while, but I promise it gets, I won't say better, but different. That's all I can say without spoilers. Anyway, thank you for taking the time to watch this, if you get to this point, through my rambling. Thank you for putting out Podtaku. It was great to watch. I will stay subscribed for the foreseeable future. Thank you. Good night.